Welcome to Natu Reads, an audio library of revolutionary texts. Scripting the Change. Selected writings of Anuradha Ghandy. Cotton flower, the best flower. It is a tale from the age of Akbar and Birbal. The king held a competition to test the wisdom of his people. Akbar asked, "Which flower is the best?" While some replied that it was the lotus, others answered it was the rose. Birbal, however, replied that the best flower is the flower of cotton, because it gives us cloth. Thus, the importance of cotton has been known to man for a long time. But what is the value of this cotton flower today? What is the condition of the farmers who give life to it? On 3 February, the Shektari Sangatan, a farmers' organization, under the leadership of Sharad Joshi, staged a Rastaroko, roadblock, movement to support the farmers' demand for increased rates of agricultural produce. But such a peaceful protest, too, could not be tolerated by the government, and about 2,000 workers were arrested in the entire state of Maharashtra. During the elections to the Legislative Assembly, and to the Parliament as well, the Farmers' Union staged a Gaon Band movement against the Congress I and those candidates who did not support the union's program. Farmers in various parts of the country have been actively struggling around this issue because, on the one hand, the costs of modern agricultural implements, seeds, water, fertilizers, machines, etc., are continuously rising, while the market rates of agricultural products are largely stagnant. The wheat, sugarcane, tobacco, and cotton farmers have discovered newer and tougher ways of struggling through various movements. They have bravely faced the oppressive measures taken by the police. The farmers of Nipani, North Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu have even lost their lives in police firing. Cotton producers of Maharashtra, and especially of Vidarbha, have a long history of struggle as compared to those from other parts of the country. At present, too, these farmers are actively involved. The plantations of cotton, its producers, its movements, and history give us the real picture of how our agricultural economy has got trapped in the web of the international economic system. The Maharashtrian farmer has been tangled in this web for the last 100 years, and 8 monopolist industrial groups, who have control over the cotton mills in the state and center, are still exploiting them. Cotton is the oldest cash crop grown in India. However, not even 4% of the cotton fields are irrigated. The objectives of the 5-year plans have never been accomplished. Yet, if, fortunately, some year there is good production of cotton, the government hastens to export the deseeded cotton, saying that there is no boost in the local market. Indian cloth mills and handloom industries require cotton of small and short thread. However, after 1965, the government has encouraged and provided aid to the production of only long-threaded cotton. On one hand, the government has been chalking out schemes to boost the local market, while on the other, it has been distributing permits for a huge import of polyester thread. These contradictory aspects of the cotton economy seem to be puzzling, but a study of the history of cotton in Maharashtra may help explain this contradiction. Maharashtra, the cotton-producing state. Maharashtra state is the leader in terms of land usage for the production of cotton, 25 lakh hectares. More than 12 lakh farmers produce cotton, and 20% of the population of Maharashtra is dependent on cotton for their living. The state also has the highest number of cloth mills. Powerloom industries are flourishing, and there are a very large number of handloom weavers across the state. In a nutshell, Maharashtra has a large number of people who are directly or indirectly dependent on cotton. Moreover, 50% of the cotton production in the state is from Vidarbha, and yet the economy of Vidarbha is backward. We can explain this backwardness to some extent by studying the cotton policy. In the 18th century, the cotton from Vidarbha reached remote Bengal, from which the world-famous mulmul was made. However, the modern history of Maharashtra starts from the Industrial Revolution in Britain in 1870 and with the origin of cloth mills in Britain. Then onwards, the type of cotton, its rates, and quantity came to be decided by the demands of Britain and the mills of other countries. Maharashtra, a supplier for the Industrial Revolution. India continued to provide cotton to the cloth industries of, first, Britain, and later, also of Germany and Japan. The big businessmen gave advance payments to the cotton producers and traders. Huge roads and bridges were constructed in order to export cotton from Mumbai. The first railway was constructed in 1850 so that the transportation of cotton up to Mumbai could be facilitated. During the American Civil War, the supply of cotton to Europe was curtailed. At that time, the production of cotton was increased and so was its rate. When this war came to an end, the rates of cotton again plummeted and the farmers of the Deccan went on strike. But fortunately, the demand from Japan and Germany for the cotton of Vidarbha increased. However, these countries required short-threaded cotton and, therefore, after great efforts, the farmers of Vidarbha stopped producing the conventional hingankat long-threaded cotton and returned to producing short-threaded cotton. The irony is that while such a large quantity of cotton was being exported, the handloom weavers in the country were suffering due to the scarcity of cotton. After 1932, whenever the international capitalist economy went into a crisis and production came down, the cotton producers suffered a lot. From then onwards, the cotton economy began declining, and the British did nothing for the producers of short-threaded cotton. During the Second World War, and with changes in the international demand, the farmers of Vidarbha had to turn towards producing the medium and long-threaded cotton once again. In 1964-5, the government encouraged the production of the long-threaded cotton, e.g. Vadalakshmi. This type of cotton has less demand in the local market than in the international market. At the same time, in order to improve the productivity, very expensive insecticides, fertilizers, seeds, etc. were brought in. The farmers were given loans to buy these. The rates of these materials are continuously rising, while the rates of cotton are stagnating. Due to various factors, such as the growing indebtedness of the farmers, imported seeds, increasing cost of fertilizers, lack of demand for their crops, earning an income even less than expenditure, the situation has become explosive. Because of the government's policy of solving socio-economic issues by applying foreign methods mechanically, and due to all of the above-mentioned factors, the cotton farmers are out on the streets agitating. The demand for a fair price. The first big rally of cotton farmers took place on 24 November 1969 at the Nagpur session of the Legislative Assembly, to focus attention on the low market price of cotton. Ostensibly with the intention of guaranteeing a stable price for cotton, and to free the farmers from the exploitation of traders, the Maharashtra government started the Ekadikar Kharidi Yojana, monopoly purchase, in 1971. However, even after the implementation of this scheme, discontent among farmers and their movements continued to increase. Although the farmers had got rid of the private traders, they were still in the firm grip of the monopolist bureaucratic traders. Through the Council of Maharashtra Cotton Producers, the farmers have been continuously raising their voices in protest against the low rates announced by the government. In January 1973, over 1 lakh farmers staged agitations at various places to press their demand of 500 rupees per quintal, but the government was ready to give only 250 rupees per quintal. Then, in the very next season, 1973 to 74, the Maharashtra government simply disbanded the Yojana because it did not want to increase the procurement price of cotton. The following year, the rates of cotton started plummeting. But because of the lack of economic backup, the Ekdikar Yojana could not be so effective. It has often been observed that the prices of cotton under this scheme are even less than the rates in the open market from traders. As a result, discontent has always been simmering, and in 1980, the farmers of Vidarbha came out onto the streets demanding a guarantee of 700 rupees per quintal. They successfully organized a chakka jam roadblock, stopping vehicles, on 20 November. Seeing the volatile situation, all the opposition parties supported the farmers. People participated in this agitation in large numbers, and, at least in this part of the state, all transport came to a standstill. Students of the Agricultural University and other colleges came forward to support the farmers. An incident of lathi charge took place in the students' hostel. Under the pressure of this movement, the government had to increase the rates by 100 rupees. However, in the next season, the mill owners and the central government put pressure on the state government to decrease the rate of cotton. The council put forth a demand of 966 rupees per quintal on 26 November 1981. They called for a farmers' curfew. The farmers of Amravati were at the forefront of this movement, and the call of not selling any produce for 10 days was largely successful. As a symbolic measure of protest by law-breaking, another movement, named Jungle Todo, was also staged successfully. But while this movement was going on, the mill workers' strike had begun and the rates of cotton came down. Every season, the mill owners lobby protests against export, saying that cotton procurement is at a loss to keep the rates of cotton low. The attitude of the government has all along been helping in keeping the rates low. In a state like Maharashtra, where so-called progressive farmers like Vasantara Patil, Sankarao Chavan, Sharad Pawar, etc., have been the chief ministers, the cotton producer's fate still depends on the weather. The per hectare productivity of cotton in Maharashtra is the lowest, and the low rates of cotton are beneficial for mill owners and imperialist traders. This is a system where the government, which is supposed to be responsible for the farmers' welfare, works only for the benefit of international imperialism and local big capitalists. With polyester yarn gaining in importance, the Indian government is freely distributing permits for its import. Many mill owners have stopped the production of cotton cloth and, instead, have started producing the expensive but profitable polyester. Facing this stiff competition has been another major factor as to why the rates of cotton have greatly plummeted. The mill owners are fulfilling the demands of only the city and rich markets. The market for polyester, though limited, is profitable. The poorer sections in rural areas can only afford cotton, but from the market point of view, cotton textile has no value. 40% of our village people use only about 2 meters of cloth a year. However, even after a huge production of cotton in India, even though 70% of the Indian population uses cotton cloth, in spite of the climate in India being more suitable for using cotton than polyester, the government, being the agent of the imperialists and the big capitalists, is profusely importing polyester solely to benefit the imperialist, petrochemical, monopolist industries. Instead of eliminating the oppression and problems of the Indian people, the government is helping in their exploitation and loot through its policy. By encouraging the multinational companies like Union Carbide and Cyanamide to sell their expensive, high-technology-based products, like insecticides, the government has helped them to extort profits from not only the urban but rural people also. The farmers have no option but to buy these insecticides so that they can earn at least a minimum amount from cotton production, but to fulfill their daily needs, to pay debts, to perform marriage ceremonies, the resources are decreasing day by day. Small and big farmers of cotton have been struggling for the last 15 years for the fair price of cotton. Similar struggles have been waged by the farmers producing wheat in Punjab, by those growing onions and sugarcane in western Maharashtra, and by tobacco farmers in Nipani, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu continuously. They have accepted the leadership of Sharad Joshi, Sharad Pawar, Narayan Swami Naidu, Akali Dal, etc., all of whom have attempted to limit their demands only to increased prices for farm produce. These leaders have tried to give it the form of the exploitation of Bharat, rural India, by India, urban India. However, they have neither understood, nor made the farmers understand, that in the present socio-economic system, it is impossible for the farmers to get the right value. What is the solution? 50% of our population, mainly rural, is living below the poverty line, BPL, and another 20% that are on the border of the BPL cannot even purchase items of daily necessities. Due to the poor purchasing power of the people, the markets are low and therefore the demand for the goods is limited. Trapped in the evil cycle of feudal relations and indebtedness, the common people are being exploited and becoming landless. Because of poverty in the caste system, their lives are insecure. Even the clothes they wear are usually given to them by others. They live in darkness, literally, since they are not even capable of buying oil to light their lamps. Hence the cruel irony that people do not even have clothes to wear, but cotton is being exported because of the lack of demand. 50% of the population survives on ambil, jawari gruel, for 6 months in a year, and we are exporting 10 lakh tons of wheat. It is evident that unless the socio-economic conditions of the people of our country improve, we cannot get the right answers to the question of fair price for the farmer's produce. While struggling for a fair price, they also have to get organized for an agricultural revolution. A revolution that will radically change the land relations in the country and give land to those who till it. Until and unless the 50% landless farmers of our population get land and relief from other forms of economic dependency, their conditions cannot be improved. Fertilizers may have helped to increase production in some areas, but it has only given rise to other problems. It is not backwards technology, but the social relationships that are responsible for poverty and backwardness. Until and unless our government gets rid of feudalism, capitalism, and imperialism, the backwardness of our economy is not resolved, and land is not distributed among poor people, technological development is of no use. Therefore, these problems of cotton producers are intrinsically related to the larger question of land relations and agrarian revolution.